Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we are coming off of, the ups and downs of our first race in our home country of Canada. And now we go to New Hampshire, which is right near Canada, close enough to play the anthem at least. Now, as you can see, between Canada and New Hampshire, there was an off week where Xfinity was in Atlanta. You see that right there. We are actually in the Xfinity race this weekend, finally, for the first time in a while. But announcing this weekend, Aric Almirola is finally retiring at the season's end. He will no longer be in that number 21 car for Wood Brothers Racing at the season's end, going into season number 3. I don't think this really comes as a surprise to anybody, myself or you guys as well now. So we'll wait and see what's going on there and with the future of that team as well, potentially up in the air as we roll into this New Hampshire weekend into practice. Now, this is a track I'm very confident at when it comes to short-term pace in this car. It's usually pretty competitive here. The long run, that's where the concern definitely builds up. You can see myself actually getting in the outside wall right there on the exit of turn number 4, and I would have a couple of moments here actually in practice where I was just knocking down the wall. But easily beating the goal time at least here now as that push towards the playoffs is on. But as well, we have the bracket challenge coming up here inspired by Denny Hamlin on the way, and it's actually going to be sponsored by Busch. It's the Busch Light Bracket Challenge basically. Sanok made a really cool logo for it. But next episode, the brackets will be announced and basically everyone can fill them out and whatnot, and then the episode after that will be the 5 races where we run through that bracket and determine a bracket champion along with the regular season finale at Daytona. But we roll through into qualifying here from New Hampshire with a goal of a 29.782. Can we match it? Can we beat it? Are we going to do worse? Let's see. Let's find out as we roll through 1 and 2 pretty well, pretty competitive there. Get up to the outside wall, dive down into turn 3. Don't want to go down any further than this under the flat part of the track. It just kind of ruins your whole corner. You can't really get rolling off of there. We exit turn 4 right on the outside wall again. We do hit it a little bit, not enough to destroy our lap. We beat the goal by nearly a second and go P5 for the Foxwoods Resort and Casino 301. So overall, that's pretty competitive. William Byron will start from pole position as we look through the rest of the order here. As you can see, Daniel Suarez down in 26. Josh Berry just behind him as well at the bottom of the grid. The Rick Ware Racing driver of Riley Herbst with Burton and Vargas and Hocevar quite a ways down the order. Xfinity Series, like I said, we were in the Xfinity race this weekend. First Xfinity race in a while for myself, and we qualified worse than we did in the Cup Series. We were down in P12. In not so good of a position. Now, the Xfinity car drives totally different at New Hampshire compared to the Cup car at New Hampshire, and I've always learned that playing NASCAR Heat 5, there's a few tracks where that kind of happens, where the Xfinity car just doesn't translate to the Cup car. Unfortunately, I would pay the price a little bit for this one here. I would just go backwards. That's literally the only thing I would do throughout this first and opening stage, and you can see down to P14, 15th, 16th, etc. It was bad. The car was really just tight. I couldn't get the car to turn. And starting on the outside wasn't helping me. So we ended stage 1 in P17 as it was a 54 of Corey Heim out in front winning the stage. So yeah, it was pretty bad. And we would come in and take some extra tires and adjustments. So the AI usually take 2. I wanted to take 4 because I felt like we needed, some kind of advantage, to get on these guys if I was going to go forward here. But we were down in P26 for the start of the second stage, and we would move forward, but the progress wasn't happening at a rate that, was making me confident that we were going to be able to actually do anything here throughout the rest of this race. And by the time we come to the final lap of stage 2, we're battling with Ty Dillon as well as Jeb Burton, but it's only for P20, so it was still pretty bad, which meant we would come into the pit lane again and try to get more tires as everybody would actually stay out for this pit stop cycle. So we'll restart from the back of the grid as Cole Custer all the way down here in the back of the field. But yeah, we'll restart in the back. We've made the car looser. We've thrown another 4 tires on it. Can we rebound here? Honestly, anything inside the top, I would say 15 would be something that I consider to be a success here now as we roll through 1 and 2, and look at the cars we just passed right there. I mean, we just passed about 10 cars in one series of corners right there, so that was a pretty good thing or way to kick off stage number 3, and we would continue to just move forward as quickly as we could here. We would get up towards the top 20. There's Shoutout and Creed. We just passed his teammate of Ty Dillon, actually had contact with the 43. Unfortunately, they would go around. That would bring out a caution late in this race. I did not want to see a caution. I was hoping we'd get more green flag laps, but we just kind of came together into turn 3, and that would get us back going from P20. And just like the last restart, you know, jumping up to the outside, 4 wide around the outside. Zane Smith as well, who's in the field in the Cup Series this weekend, filling in still for the injured Ryan Blaney. Still not quite sure when Ryan Blaney is going to, you know, be back in that 12 car, but it's sounding like he might miss the rest of the regular season in the 12 car and come back post Daytona. So, you know, Ryan Blaney not looking like he is going to be a playoff threat this season, unfortunately, in that number 12 car. Just it is what it is after that big violent crash in the Coke 600 there earlier this season. But nonetheless, you know, in these closing laps of this race, we've clearly made the right call by taking those 4 tires, making some significant adjustments on this car, because it's allowed us to at least get up into the mix. We would run down Trevor Bayne in the 18, but unfortunately this is as far as I would get. I couldn't quite pass him. Justin Allgaier through 3 and 4 is going to come through to win here in New Hampshire, and it's going to be P11 for us. Just, yeah, no still Xfinity wins for us this season. Xfinity is hard to win in, and we're certainly proving it here with another P11 effort in New Hampshire. But now we can focus in on Sunday. Let's get ready to race in the Cup Series.
We're coming to you live from New Hampshire as the Cup Series is in full focus on the run to the playoffs. Just a handful of races remain in the regular season. Will we see any more shock winners find their way in?
As a crew chief, I can tell you the calls will get more aggressive for the next few races in attempts to win races. Do not be shocked if someone finds a way.
We also still have Daytona coming, guys. We've seen a lot of surprise winners at plate tracks in recent years.
All right, team, thanks for the hard work this weekend. We got a quick car. I don't see why we can't pick up any playoff points today.
Yep, I agree, bud. Go win us this first stage.
Ready to roll from New Hampshire. As you can already see on the right side of the screen, a couple of big names sent to the back, and that's Logano and Chastain. Logano was for failing optical scanning station multiple times, while Chastain, they had an engine change after qualifying in Saturday. They noticed something was wrong there. I think it's the first time we've seen the Worldwide Express colors on the one car this season, if I'm not mistaken. It's nice to see that again. But William Byron, Denny Hamlin, your front row with Keselowski and Bowman, 2 winless drivers right here on row 2. Byron, of course, winless as well. As the green flag is out, we're racing here from New Hampshire. Daytona 500 winner from this season, Corey LaJoie, starts P6 in the Andretti Global Machine. Of course, it started out as a successful season for this Andretti team with the LaJoie and host of our pairing, but we've kind of seen them fall off. And we didn't expect big things from the Andretti team. That was, you know, silly to think that they were going to be out here lighting the world on fire. But yeah, it certainly hasn't gone the way they would have hoped. They will still have LaJoie in the playoffs at least to maybe, you know, make a playoff push. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes. And the playoffs, of course, are not far away here as we're up the inside of the 48 of Alex Bowman, who's in desperate need of a good run. Last episode, his bad luck continued in Canada with a mechanical failure in stage number 2, right at the end of that stage. So it's not been a good season for Alex Bowman. He has yet to win a race at all in the Heat 5 career mode in the, you know, season and a half that we have now completed. And yeah, he's got to figure out something quick. We've already talked about it. His playoff situation and his future is at stake at Hendrick Motorsports. Who would replace him? That's the next question. Who would go into the 48 car? And really, we have no idea. But I can tell you right now, if he doesn't make the playoffs, the announcement will be immediately starting the playoffs that he'll be out of that 48 car, I would expect, nonetheless. But we got past Keselowski, who's fading down the order already. So we're up into P3, and we would quickly run down Denny Hamlin and William Byron. Now, it's a pretty quick stage. Only 16 laps here in stage number 1. 12 laps to go. We have run down the FedEx Toyota Camry. Hamlin, 1 win on the season back in Richmond there in that overtime restart pass on his teammate of Martin Truex Jr. But Byron still yet to go to victory lane. Of course, 2 wins on the season for ourselves from Martinsville and in Sonoma. We got to be careful around this 11 car, though. We're racing a future teammate here of Hamlin now. But William Byron, as we exit turn number 4, we continue to try and put some pressure on that relay machine with 11 laps to go on the stage. And look at this run we get out of turn 2. We clear Hamlin. We'll jump to the inside of the number 24, side by side, into turn 3. Watch that rear view mirror. We are clear of the 24 to the lead here from New Hampshire in this Foxwoods Resort and Casino 301. Really opening up the wheel on the exit, but it works for me. We cross the stripe. We lead our first lap of the day, and now the caution immediately as soon as we take the lead decides it's going to come out. So nobody's coming into the pit lane, however, so we're all going to be staying out and getting ready to go back racing here. One driver I really have my eye on right now is that 5 of Larson. He is really moving forward, and one that's surprising is Martin Truex Jr. Early on, at least, running outside the top 20. We'll see if he can work his way forward, but not looking like a good day for the 19 team. I may have got the setup wrong, but we're back underway here now. This is going to leave us 7 laps of racing left in stage number 1 at a track like New Hampshire. Not too long as we dive down into this first corner now. I don't like I said already, to be on that flat part of the circuit right here, but we'll use it on the restart nonetheless. Now, it is kind of helpful when you're maybe turning down onto it on the exit of a corner, but I certainly don't want to be utilizing it, for the majority of this race, and that's why you see me right here in turn 3, running up a little bit high, but then kind of put the left sides on it a little bit on the exit of 4, but look at us driving away. Larson's moving forward. He's to the inside of William Byron back there. That 5 car has got some pace here today. He's still winless on the season for Larson. Such a baffling, story focused around the 5 car. So good last season. Only won 1 race in Miami. Even better this season, leading the regular season standings by nearly 100 points over the car in 2nd place. And he's winless. Chase Elliott as well, of course, been so good, but we've finally been able to go a few races without seeing the 9 car go to victory lane now. As you can see, Larson would eventually move into 2nd in these closing laps of stage 1, about a 2.5 seconds behind myself. But we come straight to the final lap of the stage in cruise control here in stage number 1. Look at the gap we have, about half a straightaway just about. That's completely inaccurate, actually, like a quarter of a straightaway. As we go through 3 and 4, though, for the final time, have we won a stage this season? I don't even know, but if we haven't, we have now. We come through to win stage 1 here from New Hampshire. We will absolutely take that. Of course, everybody now is going to be looking to come into the pit lane here, get some tires and fuel. Hendrick Motorsports looking good, though. Larson, Byron, Bowman, top 5. Elliott in 9th. McDowell up there. Zane Smith filling in for Ryan Blaney. P10. How about our teammate of Hamrick, who's had a miserable season, is not only, was able to qualify well, but is able to stay in the top 10 in stage 1 as well. Busher, Kyle Busch there, just outside of the top 10 as well now. As we're going to get ready to roll here from stage number 2. Of course, a little bit extra laps added on for this 2nd stage. Hamlin was able to gain a spot over Larson into the pit lane. I'm sure Larson's actually happy with that because it now gives him the inside for this restart. There's 1 car in the pits right there. I couldn't quite make out who it was, but someone's out of this race at least now as we cross the stripe. Stage 2 officially underway here in New Hampshire as we dive down into this first series of corners now. Stage 1 winner, not a very common occurrence for us, but we've talked about it recently. We need to try and win some stages to get some playoff points. Hamlin was able to stay around my outside on the exit of turn 2 here as we dive down into turn number 3. The inside maybe not exactly where I want to be. We saw, of course, the passes I was making in stage 1. We're in the lane that Hamlin's in, and out of 4, Hamlin's going to get clear, and here comes William Byron as well down the front straightaway. 26 laps of racing here, so we got a whole 10 extra laps to work with in this 2nd stage now as we roll the center of the corner, and I just can't get the car to turn, especially when there's a car on my outside, so I can't open up the wheel. I don't have that freedom like I do when I'm in that outside lane. I have the freedom to really open it up on the exit of the corner, so to no surprise, we're going to jump up to that outside here as soon as we get the opportunity, and now we can open up that wheel and hopefully make some overtakes here now as we exit turn 2, lap 3, and you can see getting to the outside of that 24. We know this car is really good on fresh tires, so we got to really utilize that now. 26 laps is enough time for things to really change here throughout a run. Byron actually under attack from Larson. We were 3 wide on the exit of 4 right there, so Larson is going to go past the 24. Going to try and look up the inside of myself as well as we're continuing to try and fight on this outside, but I just didn't feel like I had quite that that fire off that I had in stage number 1. I didn't change anything with the car, of course. I won the first stage, so I felt like, okay, maybe, you know, we should just kind of stick with the flow here. But we're struggling a little bit. I say that we're, you know, only 2 car lengths, you know, from leading this race. But compared to what we had at this point in stage 1, we're definitely a little bit off now, as Larson, actually, we get clear of him into turn number 1 again to the outside of that FedEx Toyota Camry here, but Larson continues to try and fight back in the background. We got Byron and Ty Gibbs to the right rear. This might be the opportunity to get clear of the number 11, side by side, dead even on this back straightaway on the run down towards turn number 3. We continue it, but Larson's going to force it up the inside of the 11, and that put him 3 wide in the middle. He backed out of it, so Larson to the inside of me as I'm wide on the exit of 4, side by side with the 5, and another lap later, we were still wheel to wheel, door to door down the front straightaway with 18 to go on the stage, but unfortunately for me, Larson gets clear on the exit of 2, and you see me slipping and sliding. That opened the door for the 11 of Denny Hamlin as well, and through 1 and 2 again, just trying to stay alongside, but we're going to get wide. We hit the exit turn 2 wall, and now Hamlin goes through, and so does William Byron. Ty Gibbs right to my rear bumper as we go into 3, and unfortunately, I just didn't have enough at this point now. I was really falling off. You know, I was able to hold contact for a few laps with these guys, but again, I got loose on the exit of 4 and I hit the wall. So clearly things going downhill quickly with 11 laps to go in this stage. So now it's about, okay, let's just bring it home. Let's hang on for the rest of the stage and get these points, this 4th position that it looks like we're going to get. 7 points, still nothing to really complain about here with 9 laps to go in the stage now. And you can see that I just didn't have anything at this point, just fading backwards from the front 3. Now as we're going to get a caution right here, Jones into the outside wall as he blows a tire. He comes back across the nose of the 45 of Reddick, and the caution flies, and that's going to bring everybody into the pit lane a little bit early. We took 4 tires, filled it up, and actually I did tighten it up a little bit as well. I went a few clicks up on the wedge here now as we're going to get ready to go back green for stage number 2. It's only going to be 5 laps of racing to go. It's Larson, Hamlin, your front row, a shot to the back of my future teammate of Denny Hamlin, just trying to give him a little bit of help. Chase Elliott just behind us. He's going to get forced 3 wide by his teammate of Bowman, and the 34 as well of Michael McDowell. McDowell, a bubble driver in the playoff picture, having a really good run here in New Hampshire now. I think there's a good chance we see Michael McDowell in the playoffs this season now. But of course, he's fighting against Tyler Reddick and Ty Gibbs specifically, and look who's outrunning him. Ty Gibbs in that 54. Bowman just behind as well, but Byron back through into second. He was able to clear the FedEx Toyota Camry as we continue to just settle in and try to get to the outside of the 11. Here comes Ty Gibbs now to the inside, though. He's going to try and take that position from Hamlin here on the exit of turn 2, but we got a bit of a curveball thrown at the 11. We go 3 wide around the outside down this back straightaway into turn number 3, but a contact right there with Hamlin as well. But we're able to keep it going in the right direction, and eventually we would be able to actually power our way through past this 11 on the exit of turn 2 on the outside again, and there we go into P4. Now coming to 2 to go on the stage to the outside of the 54, and this will bring us through into 3rd place. If we can get P3 here in stage 2, that'll set us up really nicely going into the final stage here for stage number 3, but we continue our side-by-side battle, but on the run down the back straightaway and through 3 and 4, we would be able to get clear as Hamlin forced his nose up the inside of Ty Gibbs right there, but Larson in control over Byron. He's not running away, but he's just able to maintain, and that's what he would do for the final lap. Larson wins stage number 2 over the 24. 3rd place for us, Hamlin, and it looks like Chase Elliott there got P5. Yes, he did. So that 9 car moving forward here as this race goes on. As you can see, Gibbs, Bowman, Hemrick again in the top 10, Kyle Busch and Buescher, who were just outside of the top 10 in stage 1, have been able to break through for some stage points here as well. Nobody's pitting, surprisingly. For some reason, I didn't even think about the fact that we had done a bunch of laps under green. So I also decided to just stay out here. I'd rather not have to work my way through traffic here in stage number 3. So we're going to get ready to go inside of row number 2. The green flag is back out, and the 3rd and final stage is underway. It's a Hendrick front row, and then they're lined up right behind us with the 9 and the 48. 27 laps of racing, so a virtually identical length stage of stage number 2, which we just completed. Now a little bit of contact with the 24. We kind of use him up on the exit there of the corner. We'll take the position up into runner-up 2nd place. Now Elliott looks to the inside of Byron, and he's trying to bring Bowman with him, some 3 wide in the background there as we exit turn 4, washing up the track a little bit. No big deal, we'll be okay. Down this front stretch, we cross the stripe 26 to go, and now we can settle into the second position as they continue to fight behind for third, fourth, fifth, etc. And we'll just try to drive away and open the gap. And it took me a few moments to really open up the gap here. I struggled right off the bat, but the gap would open. And you can see in the mirror that they were still battling side by side between the 24 and the 9. And now, can we run down Larson? We know we have a very strong car on the short run, so I was trying to utilize that to the absolute maximum that I could, and we were. Look at this, with 21 laps to go. We've run down this 5 pretty much here, another lap or two, and we're going to be all over this number 5 Hendrick Motorsports machine. And you can see right here that we have got within a few car lengths, coming to 20 laps to go. So it's game on with Kyle Larson at this point here now. He would kind of keep the gap, though, relatively consistent. We've seen this all day from Larson since he took the lead in stage 2, that he can just stay out front. He can't really drive away, but he can consistently stay ahead, and now he's doing that to me as well. Lap 59, and you can see just I can get there, but I can't quite do anything with it now, as we're going to go for a slide on the exit of turn 2, and we've absolutely thrown everything away just like that. Now, as we're going to get it back going, and it's Byron and Elliott through, and Bowman as well. It's Hendrick Motorsports 1, 2, 3, 4 here now in New Hampshire, but a big slide there has absolutely ruined this stretch of the race for us here now, as we will now settle in to the 9th position, and it just, I got down onto the flat part, and it just kind of kept the car out from under me, and thankfully we, pretty well saved it. Of course, we did clip the inside wall with what felt like the left rear quarter panel now, but that's just absolutely ruined our chances here now, and it would get worse through turn 2 again. A few laps later, I'm going to do basically the same thing. The car just out of control at this point, so I decided at this point, okay, we got to come into the pits now. I'm not racing at this point in the season really for points. I'm thinking about how can we win races, and we're not going to win the race by just doing everything that everybody else is doing. So we're going to pit early and take 2 tires. This is a risky call because, of course, a caution can come out at any time between now and the other cars pitting, and that would absolutely ruin our race. However, second place right now, to me, it was no better than 40th, so I want to win races. So we make this call. It's risky. Will it pay off? The goal is to just simply have such a strong run here, while they, of course, are on older tires, that we can be close to the 5 or maybe even ahead of the 5 when it comes out of the pit lane, because they're all going to take 2 tires, I would expect here. But we'll wait and see how this sorts itself out. You can see the pace was there. Running down Zane Smith, who's having a very respectable run in that number 12 here today as well. Got to mention that up here in P8. My teammate of Hemrick there in P7. And you can see there's good pace in this car. We are running down the 31 after clearing the number 12. And we would get to the 31. We'll jump to the outside. And it's a pretty easy, pass. Bowman as well. He's dropped down to 6th. Hamlin 5th. Chastain's up to 4th. While Elliott and Byron still 3rd and 2nd. Larson at this point has, well, he's driven away. He's gone. He's going to win this race, no matter what, unless a caution throws a bit of a curveball at him, which, of course, I'm hoping for no caution. The AI, they're going to pit within the next couple of laps right here. They are going to have to come in any moment, but the caution is going to come out and officially ruin our race. So we're going to have to take the lucky dog and pit for 4 tires. And basically just drive through as many cars as we possibly can. Thankfully, we at least get a lucky dog out of it. But yeah, there it goes. We knew something was going to happen at some point there. A risky call, and unfortunately, instead of getting the reward of it, we get the consequence of it here today. And look at this. Kyle Busch lost 20 spots in the pit lane, but the biggest surprise, with 2 laps to go, we had drivers take 2 tires and some drivers take no tires. Larson took 2, several in front of him took no tires, including the new leader of Ross the Boss Chastain. 2 laps to go in New Hampshire, and Chastain's now out in front. Larson, he's not even in the top 5. That's how far back he went, but look at the positions. We're gaining shades of what we did on a late restart in the Xfinity Series race on Saturday afternoon, but Ross Chastain, who started in the back from changing an engine after qualifying, has now put himself out in front. Hemrick is into 2nd as we come through out of turn 4. White flag in the air for Chastain. No one's going to get him at this point now unless he crashes, as he's going to lead the way through 1 and 2. Hemrick in 2nd trying to hang on, but Kyle Larson, it's been that kind of season for him. He's been so strong, and something happens. He just can't find a way to go to victory lane as we scrape the outside wall side by side with Logano, but it's all on Chastain now through 3 and 4. It's been a multi-win season for Chastain. He's going to get another win number 3 on the season for Ross the Boss Chastain here from New Hampshire as we're going to cross the stripe. It's a drag race to the line with the 22. Logano gets it. P23 for us here in New Hampshire. But wow, a change of events there right at the end. Chastain, Hemrick, McDowell, Stenhouse, the top 4. Larson still gets the top 5. Great points day suddenly for Michael McDowell. But yeah, you got to feel for Larson there. Bowman as well with a solid top 10 effort. But yeah, that caution really changes up things more than I expected it to. And if we could have stayed out instead, who knows what would have happened there. But yeah, it is what it is. You see the Xfinity Series playoff grid here now. Pocono is where the Xfinity Series is headed in the next episode, and same as the Cup Series there. So Chastain, the second driver to win 3 races this season, as you can see as well. Keep in mind the Vargas thing, he should be out of the playoffs by the time we get to Daytona. So Reddick's actually the last car in the playoffs, and Ty Gibbs is actually the first one out with a little bit of work to do. I'll see you guys next time from Pocono. Thank you for watching, and have yourselves a great day.